them the alcohol.
Good morning and welcome to Summit. Today is the 8th of July 2019 and it's really a good day and we thank you for joining us again on Summit. I am Jumoke Michaels. Banji, good morning.
Good morning, Jumoke. How are you?
Weekend?
Great, Jumoke.
Good to be back here.
Yeah, great to be back here. A couple of things happened over the weekend. We were not on air. On Friday in Osun State, it was jubilation galore for the AP, for the All Progressive Congress, because the incumbent governor, that's Gboyega Oyetola, actually got affirmation from the Supreme Court. That he actually won the election. So that has actually finalized all legal tussles. So the dispute has actually been solved and laid to rest. So Gboyega Oyetola now has 4 years, or let's say 2 months, 3 years plus. Okay. 2018 to actually deliver whatever he has for the people of Osun. A surprise happened. You know, there's this age-long rivalry between Nigeria and Cameroon. During this AFCON, Nigeria actually put a surprise, beating Cameroon 3-2. I mean, it was something that actually gladdened the heart of a whole lot of us. 3-2. I mean, it started with 1, then Cameroon returned it, increased the tally 2-1. Eventually, Nigeria won. That's 3-2. And that has actually booked us in the quarterfinals. That's jubilation for all Nigerians this time around. For all Nigerians. Then the Ruga, it was after our last edition that the news came out. The news actually broke that the federal government has suspended Ruga project. Well, that's suspension, Jumoke.
Yeah, that's the talk on people's lips that suspension is not cancellation.
It's not cancellation.
Yes.
And the CAN has actually warned Nigerians that they should be suspicious of the suspension.
That they're still on the ground.
That secretly the federal government is still working on that project. Well, who do we believe?
Well, even the Nobel laureate, Wole Soyinka, and the Oni of Ife is all over the headlines this morning that Nigerians should secure their ancestral lands against, these Ruga settlements. So that's taking another dimension, if you ask me. It's taking another dimension. This issue has actually taken on another dimension. If prominent leaders like that could come out to say that we should guard our ancestral land and against invasion of the federal government actually taking over, it's actually another dimension. And people will take note of that and do what's necessary in that regard.
Yeah. Don't forget again, yesterday was the commemoration, 21 years anniversary of the death for MKO, Mashood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, the acclaimed winner of the 1993 presidential elections. And yesterday, the Nobel laureates and the human rights activists, everyone, people of note, actually came out to actually mark the day. And they were saying that they should be conferred, be given the honor of the past president of this country. When they were actually laying the wreath, they actually said MK Abiola, former past president of this country. Well, I hope that day will come.
We hope that day will come. If June 12th could be recognized, let's believe that that will be taken, or it will be a step forward to actually publicly acknowledge him as a former president of Nigeria. So also on the program this morning, we are going to be looking at the Lagos traffic laws. You know, these laws have always been there, so to speak. They are not new, you know, but there's a new kind of enforcement that's going to be taking place on Lagos roads. And we just want to further sensitize Nigerians about these laws this morning, because if you get caught on the road, don't say you weren't told, you know. And we have someone who's joining us on the program this morning to further look at these laws and the fines and how
the penalties.
Yeah, the penalties attached to these laws, if they
whatever offenses.
Offenses, So
Don't forget that when the current governor, that's Babajide Sanwo-Olu, actually assumed office, he signed 2 executive orders. Actually, took 3. The one on traffic, sanitation. Can you remind me of the third one?
I think it's transport.
No, traffic and transport, I think they are the same. No. Okay. But see, he has not minced words, but though he has told us that it's for the common good of Lagosians, environment, traffic, and others. They are so important. Of course, there's a theme. There's a what's called theme. That's a traffic and transportation, health and environment, infrastructure, and the rest. That's a tall order, Jumoke. But he has not actually taken it lightly, especially when it comes to traffic offenses, saying that whoever commits any offense, irrespective of the status of the person, that person should actually be penalized. And if anyone drops his name on the road, that he's a cousin or a brother to the government.
which is what Nigerians are fond of doing.
You tell the person offender to call the governor to come and pay the fine. And what if it's not pay? What if it's maybe imprisonment? Sort of. Would the governor
get you out of prison? All right, so that's our program today, and we'd like you to sit by. That's the first segment anyway.
Yes.
In the second segment, we'll be discussing this Ruga suspension, and then the matters arising. And in that segment, we'll be opening the lines for you to call in and share your thoughts with us on that issue. So we'll go on a quick break now, and then when we return, we'll be looking at the Lagos traffic laws. Stay with us. All right, you're welcome back. It's still Summit. And like I said on this first segment of the program, we're looking at the Lagos traffic laws. And we have the most appropriate person to discuss this issue with us on the set this morning. We have Engineer Abdul Apiz Toriola. He's the Director, Vehicle Inspection Service, Lagos State. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Good to have you join us today.
It's my pleasure.
And how is the work going, especially with the new, frenzy towards having people obey these traffic laws?
We thank God. We have been doing our own part to ensure we have free flow of traffic, and to also ensure that road users abide by the traffic law regulation in the state, in view of the directive of His Excellency. Just like what you said, the His Excellency signed into law 3 executive orders on the 30th of May. And based on that, let me just maybe unlike the 3 executive orders, one has to do with traffic management. It has to do with the way we move on the road, the state of the vehicle, the particulars we need to obtain before we apply the in line with the law. The second has to do with environmental sanitation. We see a lot of drainage, block, people dump their refuse or waste into the canal and drainage, which is also very key. And the way people also trade on the road also affect people of traffic,
street trading,
which he has signed to law that we should ensure that they move up the road. The third one has to do with the road. fixing of potholes in the state, because road is very, very key for you to have free flow of traffic. Just like he signed, this administration has focal points or focus. It has to do with team. The first one has to do with traffic management and transportation, which is very key. Second has to do with the earth and environment, which we all know. The E has to do with the education and technology. Education and technology. The M has to do with making Lagos 21st century economy. And the E has to do with entertainment and tourism. So you can see that it is very, very key, where the X means security and governance. It's called teams. So in order to achieve those other four, the first one the government is working on, which he has challenged all the law enforcement agents in the state to ensure that we ensure people abide or complies with the rules and regulation of the state. I said, do your job, but use
human face
in line with the law. And we should also educate, like what we are doing here today. We want to educate the public. Let them be on the side of the law. It's not about government is asking for their fines. Government want to make revenue from people not obeying the law. What we want is people to abide, because you cannot quantify life. It is very key.
But thank you very much. I believe Lagosians also appreciate the viewpoint of the government. But the new laws, the way they are being churned out, it sounds as if it's a novel idea, as if it has never happened before. I recall that in 2012, we had Lagos Transportation Act, which was actually introduced by the then Governor Raji Fashola. And yes, the enforcement was actually at its peak then. I remember the governor himself apprehended a naval officer who drove against traffic on BRT lane, and several other. And at this stage, one of the laws said anyone caught driving against traffic or driving should actually be taken to psychiatric hospital, Yaba, for a kind of examination of that. So that's the peak then, and then Lagosians started imbibing the culture of obeying traffic, the laws on the road. So in what way is this one that you have brought up different from that?
Thank you very much. Nothing new, just like what you said. We have the Traffic Law 2012 then, before the new law was signed into law by the former executive governor of Lagos State on the 26th of February 2018. That was last year. And what the government is trying to do is to look at the challenges now. You know, the state is dynamic. No country is static. You move with a lot of challenges you see on the road, in the way people abide by traffic and regulation. So you need to update your law. But the fine is still the same thing. The fine we have today is just like the same fine we have in 2012. It's just the way we are now trying to approach the scenario now, the event now. That's what we are trying to do in order for people to abide by the rules. You know, gone are those days when BIS normally stop vehicles on the road, ask for your particulars. I don't know whether you know those days. We have introduced what we call technology now for vehicle verification and for traffic light violations, and also for people who drive against traffic, which is what popularly called one way. We have introduced a technology that will do that for us. Capture the event, and people will get the text message and they get their bill at home. But what the VIS does now is to look at the ricketing vehicles and take them off the road, because technology has limitation. So the VIS officer will take it off the road. Vehicles that are not registered, because the law stated clearly under section 16 that before you apply the road, you must have that vehicle registered. Why? It's about education and security. Because people can use that vehicle to do a lot of atrocity. So once you have once you have a vehicle that does not have this means of ID, which is number plate, you have to take it off the road on unauthorized or illegal operation of some commuters. So what the Lagos State government has done is to step up the enforcement using technology to do some things, which I think is in line with the global standards of best practice all over the world. So it's not new, just for people to abide by the rules and regulation. And I must give kudos to the government for coming out to see there is a challenge, we need to fix it together.
All right, based on what you just said, do you mean that while the VIS are on the road in their vehicles, they're actually checking the, so maybe you can let the cat out of the bag for us here. Just tell us how it works.
Thank you very much. Like the government challenged the Vehicle Inspection Directorate, the service, that we should look at the way they do it in civilized country or advanced country, how they enforce the law, because we know our road is limited when you compare to the volume of vehicles and people. So you have to use technology to do that, because those days when we check vehicles in terms of particulars, vehicle particulars, it also causes traffic locks. We must, but there's no way you can do it. So the government challenged us. What we have done is to look at technology called automatic number plate recognition. We have the fixed one and we have the mobile one. The mobile one is one you are referring to. When you see our men or you see any of our patrol vehicle, operational vehicle, there's a camera on top of it. There is one inside, depending on the one they install. So once the camera captures the vehicles, send that data, that number plate to the database to now query data of that vehicle. From there, the motorist will get a text message after the system will have queried data of that particular vehicle in line with section 12, subsection 2 of that law, transport sector law, to now query it. Okay, you don't have vehicle license, you don't have road ordinance, it will check. Or if our camera also capture a vehicle for when you beat the traffic light, because as long as we are on, they have the camera, they are seeing all the vehicle, even the camera close to them, even the one that is within their surrounding, the camera linked to the other database. So the VIS vehicle has this camera, and also we have some fixed one which is on major roads. That one is even much than the mobile one. So this camera, what this camera does at odd hours, it works for 24 hours. So what the camera does, pick the vehicle to send that data, that information to the database. From there, it will create data of that vehicle, and from there, the owner gets a text message. Even for traffic lights, we have installed traffic lights. Some traffic lights are now into the technology, because traffic light must be on before it works. So that one captured the vehicle to capture the fraction in time of when you beat the traffic light. It sees you capture the vehicle, and also when you go against the traffic, you drive against traffic one way, it will capture you. From there, you will see your vehicle. That's the beauty of it. You will see the offense you committed. So you see your picture of your vehicle with the fine, with the time of incident and other parameters inside it. And from there you get your bill. And people have been saying, I thought it's only in Alausa alone that we have this machine. The machine is everywhere. It's on major roads. Apart from the fixed one I mentioned, the mobile one for the VIS vehicles also goes around the state. You check it around because it's a mobile one. So that one works when we walk, but the fixed one works for 24 hours.
All right.
Okay. The concern of Lagosians, one, there is two-pronged. One, they are talking about the timeliness of the introduction or the resuscitation. Because I was going to ask, between 2014 between 2016 and now, you seem to have relaxed the enforcement. That's one. Then this introduction, Lagosians believe is a bit draconian. We are not in military era. For instance, let me read out this. One of the fines says, eating and driving with one hand is the offender is liable to 3 months imprisonment. Now, whereas there are greater offenses that do not lead to imprisonment, I can begin to read, take them one after the other. That's one. That's the second one. The third one is the collection of these papers, registration and all that. How seamless is it for Lagosians to walk in, get their papers, and getting original, for instance? Because part of what you have stated is that driving with fake driver's license is 6 months imprisonment. Many of us have fallen victims of this fake. You have.
Yeah.
So I want you to take all this together for purpose of educating, enlightening our people.
Thank you very much. Even the camera is revealing a lot of things. Camera, apart from what you are using it for, it also gives you some other information. And those information, you analyze it. First of all, let me just mention that, you see, when you are driving, you need maximum concentration. You need to concentrate a lot. Any form of distraction should be removed. But what you are holding, you are handling, has to do with life. So, you see, when you are receiving call when you are driving, it distracts you. You are also using one hand to drive, which is also not in line with the best practice. So you are using one hand to drive. Yeah, you're supposed to hold this steering wheel very well. Using one hand can do, and it can happen. Small thing, find yourself off the road. So eating. Why should you be eating when you are driving? You want to eat, you park. Go to lay-by, park, eat, or eat before you leave your home. It's a form of distraction. And we know the consequence of it. It leads to what? Accident, carnage. People should know. You can't quantify life. No amount of money you have, you want to quantify life. Once the person is gone, is gone. So what we need to do is to do it in line with the best practice. That is not. You see, the fines, the gravity of offense determine the amount you pay. And fine is meant to deter people. It's a form of deterrent to deter people from doing the right thing. So if the government make it 1 million, I'm just saying that, do you want to commit the offense? What we want from people is for them to abide by the rules.
Absolute compliance.
That is what, if you have done the needful, you can also, if you now believe that what our men has done is not in line with their mode of operations, you can seek for redress. The law put it clearly there that you can seek for. This is under Section 23 of the Transport Sector Law. Is there? Seek for redress. You can challenge the fine. You can challenge whatever the officer would have said you have done. So it is there. So what I will just continue to say to people is that.
So it's not draconian.
It's not. They should just abide by the rules and regulations. It is very key. That is what the government expects from them.
The other issues, license, fake license,
yes,
and all that.
You see, that one is. You see, there is no way you can get driver's license in proxy. I must say this. There is no way. You have to be physically present to get your driver's license. A lot of people, you just write their name on the paper and add their passport photograph, attach it to somebody go and give it to them. You give someone to produce. There's no way you can get to it, but you have to do the VIS test, pay. You have to do your biometrics, they take your data before you get it. There are procedures. That is for that, and we have a lot of that in this society. And what we have done is to improve our enlightenment program that people can know the process. Like what we are doing today, we are educating people to know the right thing. If you want to obtain driver's license, go to any of the VI centers or NBA centers. They will tell you, because it's a tripartite arrangement where we have the licensing officers, the VIS, and FRIC to do your biometrics. But the middleman, the authorized signatory, is the VIS director. Now, sign of that, we have learned the art of driving. So a lot of documents are out there that are fake. A lot, roadworthiness, insurance. Because the machine capture your vehicle, check into the database. Maybe I forgot to mention that this machine has been integrated with database of relevant agencies like the VIS database, the licensing database, NIA, Nigerian Insurance database, FRIC database. We have linked it together. So once the machine captures you, it queries it into the database, capture verify everything. So we have seen a lot of people are carrying forged documents, a lot, and we show them. By the time they go back to the person that did it for them, they will now hands off.
What happened to me was that I needed to renew, and I went to the office, and then they collected the old one, FRSC, and they collected the old one to check, and I was told that it's not. So I had to start the process all over again. I was forced to give driver's permits.
Does that not suggest that there are bad eggs even in your service? Or who are the people responsible for the fake?
You see, I must say this, that most people obtain their documents in proxy. They use a third party. I must say it. That's what we have observed. By the time we call them, how did you obtain this document? They tell you they gave it to someone.
Ask me.
I should
ask me that I had a fake one.
So, you see, most people don't go on their own. They use third party to get all these, documents.
So you are absolving your men?
No. I'm not saying we don't have that. There's no way you can read. But once they are caught, like they lay down rules in line with the civil service, they are off the job. Once you know, just let us know. I can't say I have 100%, maybe 1 or 2 can be a victim, but I can tell you within the organization, we are working so that all our personnel works with the terms of what? Engagement.
What about the timeliness? The rains are here, the roads are bad. I can tell you that about 50% of Lagos roads are in a terrible state of disrepair now. So why are you in a hurry to actually enforce the laws when one of the conditions to ensure safe, smooth driving is not there?
You see, I mentioned that, even when you mentioned it, that the governor signed 3 executive orders. One of the executive orders is signed is what? Fixing of roads. I mentioned it. You see, road is a continuous thing that government continues to maintain. But you have to ensure that you yourself is also safe. Your vehicle is safe. It's about life. Road is a continuous government continue to maintain. But you must do your own part by ensuring your vehicle is roadworthy. Just do your own part. When your vehicle is roadworthy, if the road is bad, all you need to do is just to drive slowly on that road. You have done your part. And my own vehicle, you see, for accident to occur, 3 factors must come to play. The vehicle is important, the road is important, the driver is so important. You take care of yourself, which is the driver. Take care of the vehicle. The road, leave it for government to fix it.
When my vehicle gets stuck in a deep maybe gully or maybe pothole and it gets bad, who do I hold responsible?
That's your duty.
Can I find the government?
You see, that government is taking this road. I must be sincere to you. We meet every day, and the Ministry of Transportation is working with public works to ensure that this road are fixed, whether the individual one they want. Because and the rainy season is not helping. I must tell you, the weather is not friendly with the repair work we are doing. I have to be sincere to you. Because we also talk to them, we go out with them to see that, because we have a list of roads which they need to fix that very important before they extend to others. But government can do their own part, but let us do our own part.
Yeah, sorry for the last question, I guess. Some of these vehicles that are smoking, these smoking vehicles that you fine, they have to pay a fine, right? But they return back to the road. The fine doesn't actually stop them.
Deter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Or does not reduce the number of
smoking vehicles. How does that actually work?
Maybe I need to invite you to our stations.
To see the number of...
To see the number of getting vehicles. It's not about the fines alone. You see, that's why we have the woman enforcement. I mentioned technology and woman enforcement. Part of the woman enforcement is to see those getting vehicles and impound them. The Lord gave us that power to impound them. And when they impound them, they will go and call their panel beater. They go and call their mechanics to come and fix the vehicle before we release it. After paying, payment is just there. But they will fix the vehicle before they leave our yard. See, maybe one of these just go to our yards, capture it without informing us. You see them repairing their vehicle. Because if you cannot repair it on your own, we will teach you on how to make sure your vehicle is roadworthy. And for the benefit of all of us. Because we always believe that safer you safer, if the other vehicles are safe on the road, I will also be safe too. Because so that there will not be misalignment, carnage on the road. So it's not about fines alone. State of the vehicle also apply to us. Because the UN Decade of Action mentioned safer vehicle. Even Nigerian Road Safety Strategy also mentioned safer vehicle. So we must ensure that we are...
Since you said the Lagos Transportation Act and the renewed efforts at enforcing the traffic laws are the same. I remember that the law then stipulated that the Okadas were only restricted to 495 roads out of about over 2,000 roads in the state. Today you and I know that the Okadas are fully back on the roads, and with utmost disregard to these laws. Have you, looked the other way?
No. We are working with we have a task force team that is working on that. See, after I must say it, that government believe that people should be able to abide by the rules without enforcement. But I must tell you this. You see, there is nowhere in the world where you believe people will voluntarily obey the laws without enforcement. I don't know if you are getting it. There is no way in the whole world.
Can you say we cannot achieve zero compliance? Zero
compliance without enforcement.
100% compliance and zero tolerance for...
No, that's not where I'm going. What I'm trying to say is, when you don't enforce, you are The law is there. But when you don't enforce it, nobody will abide by that law. So what we are doing now, we have seen these issues, it's where we find ourselves now. We have worked with other law enforcement agencies to ensure that we carry out this enforcement in line with the law. By the time, it's a matter of time. We are working with Nigerian police. We are even working with military personnel. So, because we also see all these people who are military in person, who also ride Okada. After closing from war, they will take Okada, they will go on all these routes. We are working with them to partner with them so that it will be effective. I can tell you, last man is there, BIS is there, police is there, Navy is there, many. They are all there to ensure that we carry out this job, this assignment, so that they can leave those roads we have mentioned. Because those motorcycles are not safe on that road. There is other means of transition on that road. Let them go to interland. That's why the law puts restriction, not ban. Restriction. You can apply this, you can apply this based on the safety of citizens.
Are you aware of this Okada becoming big business now? We have corporate organizations, branded Okadas that have actually come in a big way. I mean, is it that those ones have registered and they are in line with your...
Yes, we are trying to regulate their activities like Okada, there are many. Maxi, OPay, that is all right.
Okay.
See, all these things, we are working with them to regulate their activities, to ensure that they meet our operational guidelines. We are working with them. So they are also not to apply some routes in the state. So we are working with them. By the time we finish with them, we have been working with them, and thank God I'm part of that committee that is working with them. So we are going to use some of them to actually regulate those unregulated Okadas in the state. That's what we are trying to do. But outside that, you see, when you see them, they are corporate, they have a link. If they commit any offense, you know who to hold. Than those one that once they commit any offense, they are off Lagos Road. So we are also working to see that, okay, let's see how we can regulate them, but we also give them rules. For those one who are not, you see, some of these people, they don't even speak English. I don't know. See, all they need to just buy a bike today on the road without knowing the rules of what.
Are they the ones that you said must have permits, riding permits?
All Okada operators must have riders permit. And they must also go to
Has that started?
Yes, we have started something. We have started, but it's a gradual thing. You cannot just like what you said, you don't have to rush it. Let's study the situation, let's do what we need to do so that it can last, can sustain it. That's what government is looking at.
All right, please, your last word to negotiate.
No, I was going to talk about sensitization.
Okay.
You've gone into all this. Yeah, I'm aware that as part of your practice, the tradition was that you would go out and sensitize on all the media platforms, radio, TV, online, all that. That's no longer happening. Do you expect all Nigerians to know your practices and your rules overnight, or you expect them to rely on WhatsApp?
No. You see, part of our responsibility to educate motorists, which is what we are doing. We are also using social media too, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are doing that. Even we are also engaging the interfaith people, like the imams, pastors, to also give this information to them so that they can take it back to their worshippers or followers, so that we are not only limiting ourselves to TV, to alone. It's our practice that we must continue to educate the public in terms of enlightenment, tell them what the law says. And that is what we are doing. It's a continuous thing, I must tell you, which I believe we are doing.
What happened to Lagos transportation agenda? You used to have Lagos transportation agenda.
Yes, we still have it.
You have it?
Yes.
It's not running.
The government, the program was suspended for a while, which we believe we are going to do. We are coming up with
resuscitate
it and bring it back so that we can to educate the public. There is transport today on some media houses, which we are trying to do. Maybe we also look at other means of engaging the public, apart from going to parks, going to corporate organizations, going to corporate social clubs, we go to social clubs, we go to even schools and churches and mosques to educate them. We continue the continuous thing.
All right, your last one to negotiate.
I think what I'll just say is that in view of the traffic law, rules and regulation, people should abide by the state law. they should ensure that their vehicles are roadworthy, they apply or they obey all traffic and regulation. It's for the benefit of all of us, so that the roads can be safer for all of us.
They need to get it and study it. It's online. We looked at it online, so it's there for everybody to see. All right, thank you. We'll be speaking with Engineer Abdullah Hafiz Toriola, the Director, Vehicle Inspection Service, Lagos State. Thanks for being a part
Thank
of
you
our
very
program.
much. And I was very happy when you said the objective, the motive was not to make money for the state, but to make life safer for Lagosians on the road. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, we'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll be discussing the Ruga suspension and matters arising. And in this segment, we want you to call in to share your thoughts with us on this issue. We'll be right back. All right, you're welcome back. Right now, we'll be talking about the Ruga suspension and matters arising, which we've already chatted about at the start of the program, talking about the announcement that Nigerians should defend their lands against usage for Ruga settlements.
A lot of Nigerians have actually spoken on several media platforms, expressing their distrust and mistrust about the entire project. Meanwhile, the federal government has said, whereas the federal government has said that it's to put a lasting solution to the farmers-herders clash, a lot of Nigerians believe that there's more to it. Now, the federal government haven't listened to various views about the Ruga issue, said it was suspending it. But the nationwide. But the questions being asked now, as we said earlier, is why suspension? Why not total cancellation? Why don't you come out and tell us, oh, for these reasons, we are actually cancelling this project?
And then why not retain it in the northern states?
Especially those states that have actually signified interest. Signified interest and have provided.
Remove it from the southern states. Why total suspension? So it's in two parts.
Yesterday on one of the TV channels, I watched the people of Benue State, about seven or eight different set of communities who actually came out and said, for what has happened in their land in the past, they will never allow this Ruga thing to hold or to take place in Benue State. Now let federal government keep it, and they never believe, because the herdsmen from the antecedents have shown that it's not just to graze, that they were more interested in occupying, expanding their occupation of the lands they had actually taken in the past. And besides, the terror they have unleashed on the rural communities are the reason why they said these things cannot hold, because over time, these people will never go back home. They will turn the new settlement into their new lands. And maybe in the next 50, 100 years, who will now go and approach them that, look, this was not your land, though. Go back to your native land. And questions are being asked, why don't they go back to their own lands? Their native, don't they have lands? And you also know that Sambisa, people are recommending Sambisa. That if Sambisa has been occupied, taken over by the terrorists, why don't we push the Fulanis who do we know can actually square it up?
To occupy the large expanse of
The large
land
expanse
in
of
that place, and use it for whatever it is that project is all about. And
So the
use that
issue
land.
is, what do Nigerians think? Should it
We
be
can take-
suspension or cancellation of the Ruga? That's
We
a
can
rural
take
grazing
one
area.
or two calls on this issue. We can take one or two calls before our time is up on the program this morning. And then another aspect to this issue is the issue of the people saying that the federal government is actually working at repealing the Land Use Act so that they can gain control of the lands from the state governors. That's coming from some southwest groups. We don't know how far that's true, but there's
a lot of mistrust.
talk here.
There's a lot of mistrust because government in the past has not actually, over time, they've not been known to show transparency the way they've dealt with people. So there's a lot of suspicion. Does the government want to take over our land? Does they have any other hidden agenda in all of this? So people may be right, but it's not been substantiated whether federal government actually wants to repeal the Land Use Act or has any other intention. You understand? So it's neither here nor there. People may be right, they may be wrong. But the government has not means was that it doesn't have any hidden agenda than to to allow for peaceful coexistence amongst Nigerians.
I think we have a caller. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Can hear you.
Good morning.
Yeah. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Mr. David, I'm calling from Ogun State. Yes.
Ogun State. All right. Thanks for calling. All right. Let's have your contribution.
Okay. I want to know. Yeah, I'm calling from Ogun State. I'm Mr. David.
Yeah. Please go on.
Yeah, I want to comment on this. Well, I want to contribute.
Yes, please.
From the Ruga statement.
Yeah, please go on.
I do support to suspend your council in Ruga. I'm talking. I don't suppose to suspend your council in Ruga.
It's suspension.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
What we should have done is to build land. The council system, the council system that individual because the government system. So why would the government acquire people's ancestral land and to put an investment? And in the first place, you will arrangement. Correct. In this country, we should be sincere to ourselves. You can't come in a secular state like Nigeria and begin to support one particular ethnic group. Council business is an individual business. That's all I want to say.
All right.
And that's all I want to contribute.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Did you hear the last thing you said?
Yeah.
As a private business, and why do you want to support a particular ethnic group against others? So that's his view.
Yeah, so his view should be cancelled and not suspended.
Okay.
It should be cancelled and not suspended. All right, so I think we can still take one more call.
Yes, we can, yes.
Yeah, we can still have one more call
Let's
before we leave. Hello,
Hello.
good morning. Hello, good
Hello,
morning.
you are on.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, you are
can
on.
Hear you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Mr. Akayode calling from Madrid.
All right, Mr. Coyote. Let's have your thoughts.
Mr. Kayode, you are on. Can you reduce the volume of your TV set?
My thought on this is that the suspension should not have come. It should have been scrapped. It should have been. Okay.
Reduce the audio of your TV set.
What I'm saying, man.
All right.
The suspension should not have been come up. It should be scrapped, not to come up with you. It should be scrapped. Program should be scrapped. Because if you give them the chance of settling down, just settling down with them, they will take that advantage of gaining possession of the area. So program should be scrapped.
All
Okay,
right.
Mr. Kayode, thank you.
Thank
We got
you.
the point. One more, please. You can take one more.
And then the northern youths are saying that they have given the federal government 30-day ultimatum, to reenact that project.
Their protest is
In the-
actually about why
in the
should federal
state.
government suspend it because the Southerners don't want it. Yes, someone else on air.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Sorry, we lost that call. Well,
So
we
many
have
people
had,
actually
people-
we'll have to
some people-
Jumake, we need to do justice to this issue. We need to dedicate much more time for people
Yeah.
to express their views. Ordinary Nigerians were not actually able to make their own input, whether it should be cancelled, suspended, scrapped, or whatever. But this is a platform
yeah,
for
yeah,
people to
for
actually
people to
air their
actually
views.
air their views.
It's a democracy. Everybody has a right to talk, to contribute to the
all right,
running
so
of
we
the
want to
affairs
say
of the
thank
country.
you to those who were able to pick their calls from Ado-Ekiti and Ogun State. Thanks for calling to be a part of the program, and we want to say thank you for watching. We'll see you again on Wednesday with another interesting edition of Summit. I'm Jumoke Michaels. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. The next edition is the midweek edition of the program. That's Wednesday. And I assure you it's going to be a much bumper package. It's Summit where you get it fresh and where you get updated about events around the country and even across the borders. Thank you very much. My name is Banji Busari. See you again then.